So, hi everyone. I'm starting our record and let's begin our session. Please, so I can make the attendances, can you please write your full name in the chat so I have track? Thank you. Well, today we are going to talk about reusable components, organization, and refactoring. Let's get started. Have you ever copy-pasted a code from one place to another in the same project? And if you did, what problems happened later when you needed to change something? Any idea? Well, the problem is that if we find a bug, we must fix it in many places. This is why reusable components are so useful. The sound is good. Can you hear me? I need some feedbacks. So, okay, good. Let's go forward. What makes a good reusable component? Usually, a component is worth extracting a few things when have first the same user interface pattern appears in multiple places. Second, the logic becomes complex enough that separating it makes the code easier to understand. And third, the component has one clear responsibility, only one task. So it's worth it to go forward and make it reusable. For example, text input with label component is a labeled input that can be used in multiple forms. Mhm. Please, for anyone just came, write down his full or her full name. So I'm talking about um, reusable component. As example, we have a button. It is also a grid reusable component. We can reuse it because it gives us consistency in styling and behavior. Other reusable components are things like error message, loading spinner. Can you identify any repeated user interface that we can be a great candidate for reusable components? Have you any idea to share? Yes. A successful message after reading to-do item. Great. So let's talk about helper function vs custom hooks. Sometimes we want to reuse user interface code, but In other times, we want to only reuse the logic. This is where helper functions and custom hooks comes in. So a helper function is just a regular JavaScript. It does not reuse React hook. And we normally use helper functions for calculations, formatting text, or validation logic. So it's a pure JavaScript. Otherwise, the custom hook is different because it uses React hooks inside of it. So we have kind of JSX. We have custom hooks are useful when we want to reuse stateful React logic. Okay, so the main idea is help help for functions reuse JavaScript logic, while custom hooks reuse React state logic. So as our application grows, we need to keep it organized. A simple strategy to organize files by feature and purpose. As you know, good organization helps us find the files quickly and makes project easier to maintain. So if something is only used in one feature, we keep it inside that feature folder. But if it is shared across different parts of the application, we move it into a shared folder or utils folder. For our to-do app, we have the SRC folder. In future, we have to-do list, and to-do list item, and the to-do form all inside the features. However, we have the text input with label and the to-do validation in it shared and utils. Let's look at the input text input with the label component. In our project, the label and input pattern appear in multiple places. So we use it in the to-do form and to-do list item. So we pass props in the components here, element ID, label text, value, on change, and ref. So our component, we pass props and return the component JSX. This makes our component flexible and reusable in different situations. So how we use this reusable component in our to-do form. Before refactoring, we wrote the full label and input HTML tag elements directly inside the component. That works, but it creates repeated code, label and input, label and input. So after extracting the reusable component, the code becomes much cleaner and easier to read. As you can see, we simply render the text input with label and pass in the props it needs, like the element ID and label text. So it's more cleaner. We have all props we needed, the ref, value, all the things. So let's plan the editing feature for the to-do item. Inside our to-do list item, we will create an edit mode. When is editing is false, we will display the normal view that include the checkbox, the to-do title, and the edit button. And when is editing becomes true, we will switch to edit mode. In the edit mode, we will display text input with label and update button and cancel button. Mhm. To make this work, we need new state variables. We need a boolean called isEditing, and we also need a string called working title that starts with the current to-do title. So we also need a few handler functions, a handle edit that updates the temporary title value, handle cancel, which resets the value with and exit mode, and the handle update saves the updated to-do title. Here we plan our to-do list item with the states and handlers that we needed to implement. So first things first, our refactoring, moving files. To make all of this work and keep our project neat, we need to do some refactoring and move files into folders. However, when we move a file, we must update the imports. If we forget some imports, Vite will show an error immediately telling us the import is broken. Well, we have to follow these steps. First, we move the file, and then we update every import that reference that file. And finally, we check the browser and confirm everything still works. One important thing is I highly recommend at the beginning and even after, move one file at a time and test before moving the next one. So debugging will be much easier. I think that all of these information are clear for you, and maybe we go ahead and do our refactoring for the project. So I'm going to share my screen, and you will and I will reorganize together. So we will create the futures folder and move the to-do list. So let's see if I can stop here. And reshare my screen so we can. Good. Can you see my browser and the VS Code? Okay. So basically our lesson 5, we had this app.jsx and under the source folder. So we need to create our feature folder. So I just select here and create a new folder, call it features. And in features, we will create another folder, which is to-do list. In feature, we have nothing here. And we will create to-do list. So let's move our to-do list.jsx into our to-do list folder. Here, the VS Code give us information if we want to update import. I will say no, because automatic imports control may not import correctly. As you can see here, we moved our to-do list into to-do list folder in the futures folder, and our browser console is complaining with failed to reload because an error of imports. So our to-do list is no longer in the same folder. We will look for it under the feature, under features and to-do list, and we select our to-do list and we'll save it. And then we check. Oh, I'm sorry. I terminated the terminal. So npm run dev. Okay. So good. Failed to reserve import to-do list item. To-do list item also it's complaining because our to-do list item, which our to-do list has an import on it. It will look for to-do list item in the same folder. So let's go ahead and move it in the to-do list folder. We move it, and the error message is gone. Good for us. Here, the thing, we just move a file one by one, so we can verify that our to-do one is working as usual, and it is functional. So then we have to move our to-do form into features. Let's do it. Just drag this and move it. I usually do not accept that the Visual Studio Code update the imports, as I told you. So let's see our app. Here, the console is complaining. We have a 404 message, and you can see the terminal. The terminal is our friend. The terminal is very verbose, so vid has identified we changed the file. So the to-do form is no longer in the same folder. So, okay, in features, and then we select to-do form and save. Well, message is gone. Okay, we have our to-do function back. And that's it for our refactoring. We have features, we have to-do list, and maybe we will create a new component, a shared one. So in SRC, we create our shared, and here we will create a new file, text input with label .jsx. Um, any question about moving files and organizing this in folders? If anyone have any question about that, feel free to write your question down in the chat. Good. Our mentor session for this week is a little short, and it is okay. Slideshow. Let's see. Okay, now it's your turn. We did the reorganization thing. Maybe it's your time to create this text input with label. If you didn't, if you didn't do, don't did it, or we go together for that? Mm. So if you can code along in your side and move the label and input logic into our to-do from the to-do form into the new reusable components, then we will replace the old code with the text input with label. You have 8 minutes to do that. So I think you are working on the the exercise I give it to you. Well, let's see it together and have some insights. I will share my screen. Okay. Everyone is here. Welcome back. Make a sign if you hear me. Hello. Thank you, Justin. So let's see how our to-do form will look like. Basically, we here we replaced our label and input with the text input with label and put our element ID, props, label text, and on change. I'm used to create a function and pass it on change because I'm used to that, even if it is one line function I usually created and pass it in on change. So my code is more readable and I can maintain it easily. And our input with text label, we will be like this. I declared our my function and have this destructive props. And here we return the label and input. Just copy it from the to-do form and pass these props in it and export default. This is very straightforward, easy one, I think. So that's it for our mentor session for today. I I I wish you great week, and if there is no question to answer, see you next week. Okay,
Yes, thank you so much.
thank you.